Welcome back to the shop, everybody. Today I'm going to start on a project. Should be a quick video. I found a vintage HAWKBILL folding pocket knife. It's a really nice one. Needs some work. Let's see what I can do with it. So this is the HAWKBILL folding pocket knife. It is a KEEN Kutter. And it's not in bad shape. It's just really dirty. See if I can get some better lighting. It needs to be cleaned up. So this KEEN Kutter HAWKBILL, like I said, it's not in horrible shape. It's got some rust. The spring feels tight, but it's very weak at the very end. It doesn't snap into place. I don't know whether or not I'll be able to get that to have more correct hold open or lock open. I don't know if you can hear this or not, but it's very, very weak. Opening it seems like it's got pressure on it, but to hold it closed, the spring's not holding very well. We'll see what I can do with that. Other than that, I am going to try and leave as much patina as possible. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. But no, just want to make it functional. More of a preservation and trying to get it to work correctly. So it's got some numbers on the back. It is a K140. And it's got dark, almost looks like rosewood. I doubt it is. I don't know. I'll try to research it. But yeah, let's get into it. Clean it. See if I can get it to work correctly. So first, I'm just going to put some oil on the pivot pin, work it back and forth, see if I can get any rust to work its way out, see if I can get it to smooth up a little bit. I said it feels nice and positive. It just doesn't have a good locking holdover. Hopefully I'll be able to correct that. I don't know if I can or not, but we're going to find out. Work this back and forth. See if I get any rust coming out, which I do. Got some rust coming out of it. Just going to continue to work it back and forth until I'm not getting any more rust coming out of the pivot. I haven't completely worked all the rust out of the pivot, but I'm going to try to get rust out of in between the liners. Got some 4/0 steel wool and try to get it down in between. Rub it around, get some oil in there. Just have a pick. I look for, so y'all can see how much rust is still coming out of it. It's all over the desk. Look for a popsicle stick that I could refashion like Magdad or 357 Magdad uses, but I could not find one that was narrow enough without having to do a lot of modifications to it. So I'm going to try this first. Actually, let's get in here with the pick by itself and see if we can pull anything out. That's got to be that's the other side of that lock or the torsion bar. Just try to get that steel wool in there and work it back and forth. Get it down in there so it scrubs the inside and the sides of the liners and the bottom of it. Work that back and forth for a while, see if I can get it to clean up. Thankfully, there's not a lot of nasty pocket lint in it. Earlier I couldn't see down in the liners. It was all black and nasty, but you can see they're already starting to clean up a little bit. So I'm going to continue with that until I'm happy, and then move on to the next step. Got the liners cleaned up a little better. This is feeling a little tighter. Maybe it's just got some gunk in it still, but I've noticed that it's got decent lockup, very little, very almost indiscernible wiggle here. But when you go to close it, it's not quite in line. So my next step is I'm going to try and reveal the KEEN Kutter emblem a little better, and leave, clean up the blade, clean up the nail nick with some steel wool and some oil, but leaving the patina on there, because like I said, I don't want this to look new. I'm wanting it to have that history and character on it, but I want to clean it up and make it look nice. So I'm just taking some steel wool, seeing if I can clean up this really bad dark rust here. And if not, then I'll probably move to a really ultra fine sandpaper, and then come back, and if there's any scratches from that, buff it out and make it all look the same with the steel wool. That is not quite coming out. Still quite a bit of, it's better. I don't know if y'all can see or not, you can see the emblem a little better, but there's still a dark spot. I'm gonna try to get that out so we can read KEEN Kutter really well. I have some different abrasive sanding pads. I'm gonna start off as mild or as gentle as possible, the 5,000. If that doesn't remove it, then I'll move to 3,000. I don't want to go lower than 12 because I know that I don't really want to put deep scratches in it. And if the 1200 doesn't remove it, then I'm just going to leave it. But I'm hoping that somewhere along the lines of 5,000 to 3,000, we'll get that tarnishing off. So the 5,000 grit has worked pretty good, but there's still just a little bit of dark patina there that I want to try to get out. So I'm going to move to 3,000, and there's still some darkness in the nail nick that I want to try to get out as well. So I'm going to move to the 3,000 and see whether or not that takes care of it. I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on this. Just kind of letting the sandpaper do its thing. Definitely much better. As you can tell, it is definitely taking some more rust off still. Trying to get any kind of 3,000 grit doesn't have a harsh scratch pattern at all, but I still want all that scratch pattern going as much in one direction as I possibly can. The liners aren't quite cleaning up as nicely as I'd want them to with the 3,000 grit. So I'm going to bump it to 2,000 grit. I'm going to step up in aggressiveness and down in number. I don't know if y'all can see this or not. This bolster sits lower than this one. I don't know if I'm going to try to correct that because it would most likely take the finish off. and I have to restain it, but that's not a horrible thing. These pins, you can see the pins, like most pocket knives, you can feel them. They're sticking out past the bolsters on both sides. So I may try to level those out as well. Just make it a nice smooth finish. Again, I'm going further on a project than I told myself I would go, but man, you get into doing this stuff and you love doing it, that kind of thing happens. I stepped up in aggressiveness, a step down to a 2000 grit. I know that sounds so weird. I stepped up in aggressiveness, but I stepped down in grit. You know, sandpapers, you know what I'm talking about. The lower the number, the more aggressive it is. So I'm being a little bit more gentle than I was with the 3000 grit because I don't know how aggressive or how it's going to react, how much it's going to take off. I'm barely putting any pressure on it. So looks like it's cleaning up pretty good. I don't think I'm going to go past lower than a 2000 grit. At the end, when I've got it finished cleaning up, I'll let you know for sure. But yeah, there's still just a lot of gunk and debris coming off this entire thing. Get it finished cleaning it up. If I decide to tackle the bolsters, I'll let you know, which I think I am. I think I'm going to try to even that out. It's going to bug me. Maybe. I don't know, because it's a nice vintage pocket knife. I don't know if I want to modify it much, but that's not really, I don't say it's a modification. I'm just cleaning up sloppiness, if you will, from the manufacturer. And who knows, somebody, no, I'm pretty sure that's from the manufacturer. There's a possibility that somebody wore it down and smoothed it back out because they dropped it, or who knows what kind of history this knife could tell if it could. Yeah, I think it's cleaning up pretty good. I have decided to try to knock this bolster down and even it out. I just got some 400 grit and I'm just dragging and rolling it to hopefully make both of the sides even. The wood is staying, so I'm thinking this might be rosewood. I'm not 100% sure, but it is a dark wood. It's not a stain, which is really cool. So yeah, if I'm evening out these bolsters on the end, it seems to be working pretty good with this 400 grit. And I'm just going to continue until I get it the way I like it. Couple of passes and check it. Oh yeah, that's going to be nice. Couple of passes and check, couple of passes and check. Just take off a little bit. It's cleaning up nicely. I have the bolsters almost perfectly aligned. You know, take a little bit more off here. I do want to bring these pins down, but I didn't want to continue working with the sandpaper because inevitably I would just work the wood around it down more than I would work the pin down. So I'm going to go at it with a file and just slowly, carefully take material off with the file and then blend it back in with the sandpaper. Oh yeah, that's working nicely. I've got it cleaned up pretty well. I did make a mistake when I was leveling these pins out because I didn't want to feel them in my hand. Just a me thing. I didn't think about the fact that doing so would make them all polished up, which is kind of going against the whole leaving patina. But I don't think it's going to look bad. I'm going to try to do some research and see if I can find some information about this particular model, the K140. I think it's cleaning up nicely. I said I still need to do just a little bit more here. I just forgot about it until now, but I need to do a little bit more shaping here. Check this blade. It is sharp-ish. I mean, it's sharp, but it's not, I can tell it's not, you know, crazy sharp. It's not bad, but you can tell it's catching and tearing. It's got some burrs in it. It's ripping. So I'm going to try to correct that. And the way that I'm going to correct that is I just have I've never sharpened a hook blade like this before. So I just have a round sharpening rod, and I'm going to come in and sharpen like I normally would. Oh yeah, I can feel the burrs on it. I'll just continue to do this until this may be too... Is that a sharpening rod? No, it's not a sharpening rod. That's like rubber almost. Let's see if I can do it with this. If not, I'll find something else. Yeah, I can see burrs in it. Or I can see nicks. Feel nicks with my fingernail. So I didn't realize it wasn't a rod. It's actually rubber. So let me find something else to see if I can achieve, get a good edge on this. Okay, I did find an actual stone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go across the edge, just sharpen it like you normally would. Just a different shaped stone, creating a burr on the other side. I've got a burr all the way, lacking a little bit there is a burr, but not the same depth. And then on the very tip, so I'm gonna work on this general area a little bit more. Yeah, I can feel a burr all the way across. I'm just going to repeat that process over here. Actually, what would be really good to use on this would be the edge of a window, like in your automobile window. That would be nice to hone this, because this is actually pretty coarse. Let me do... Actually, I'm going to take y'all outside and we're going to do the window. I'm going to show y'all that. So last year I bought a whole box full of stones on eBay of different grits and abrasiveness. Had some round stones. They were kind of coarse, not too, they didn't get too smooth. Like I said, they were coarse. So I didn't really have a rounded surface to finish honing this blade on. So I'm just going to come to my truck window and finish it off. Oh yeah, Feels nice and sharp. Let's go see. Let's see if I can actually do this looking through the phone. That's so weird. I see how I look over the phone. Well, it looks like I need to work on it a little bit more. Well, just have to hold your mouth right. Yep, so that is pretty darn sharp. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and give this a good oiling. I have ballistol in here, this little thumb oiler, and it was designed for use with the military. Not our military, I can't remember which one it was. Sweden, or I can't remember. I'll have to research, I'll look it up, but it's safe to use on metal, wood, and leather, so I'm not worried about getting it all over this pocket knife. So I'm just going to, that came out pretty quick, put some on there and buff it in steel wool. And do the entire knife. Handles, bolsters, blade, spine, everything. Should have kept that block of wood over here. So while I'm working this back and forth to get oil in the pivot, so that's still, it's very strong until the lock open point, and then it just falls off. The spring tension just falls off. I don't know if there's a way to fix that without pulling the knife apart. And I don't know if there's a way to fix that even with pulling the knife apart. For those of you who are more into knives than I am and do know, please write down in the comments if the tension on that can be fixed, because that's, I mean, granted, I will be cutting this way, but that just seems like it should snap better. There she is. Said I didn't go all gun-ho, polish it out and make it look brand new, because it's a vintage piece. I didn't want it to. And I actually, like I said earlier, taking these pins down that made those very shiny, probably took a little bit more patina off than I really had intended to. So, ooh, I cut myself. Just be very careful with your abrasives if you're not wanting to take off a lot of patina. But I think it turned out all right. Find out if I can correct the alignment on the blade. It wants to line up over here. So I got some more work to do on it. Some research to do. But there she is. I think it turned out really nice. I'm very happy with it. I wish the lighting above my head was better so we could see down in there, because you actually can see down in there now. Don't even have to use the nail neck. There's so much blade sticking out of there. That is so cool. Never had a blade shaped like this before. I'm pleased with the way it turned out. I'm happy. It feels nice and smooth. It still looks like it's got age and character to it. And it's sharp. I like it a lot. I said, if y'all know if I can fix some of those issues that I'm having, the blade alignment and the snap open, let me know in the comments. Appreciate y'all stopping by. And until next time, get out there, save something from being forgotten, and live a big life.